Okay, this is a handheld job today, so it might move around a little bit, but it's way easier than trying to set up my tripod. I just want to make a short intro to go with the time-lapse video that I've just done of my practice today. Feeling pretty disassociated right now and quite vulnerable, actually. A lot of emotion just sitting there, which is what today's practice was about, I guess. I had a bath this morning first thing because I just felt like I really needed to do that, and just feeling into, God, where does the story start? Yeah, there's emotion that's coming up. Oh, I know where it starts. It starts with pain in the body. Okay, that gives us an anchor, right? So my hip seized up maybe on Monday. I could just feel it, like this tightening up, and it's like, oh, what's going on there? And they've been sore. And I know that when they do this, that the reason is there's emotion that needs to arise, and my habitual response to emotion that needs to be felt is to grip and to hold on and to not allow it to come through, to control it, basically. There's so much emotion in me right now, just talking to you guys. Yeah, so I could feel that. And then the thing is, so the pain's there, right? And it's physical pain, which is alerting me to the fact that there's emotional pain that's ready to be released. And it's hard for me sometimes to access that, to find my way into it. And then I notice things like I start to eat way more chocolate, and like last night I was so full and I had 2 helpings of ice cream, and I'm watching myself do it, and I know it's like, oh yeah, this is what's going on, the stuff that needs to come up. And last night I had a dream about whales, and I won't go into detail too long, but when whales come up in my dreams, and they have a few times, as an animal, for me they represent really deep stuff rising from the psyche that's finally ready to let go. And so when I woke up this morning, it's like, okay, this stuff is so close to the surface. How do I go and do it? There it is, right? So my work day began with a bath, because for me, my work begins with the inner work. It's what it's all about. If I'm not doing my inner work, then I can't do my outer work. It's one and the same. So I had an amazing bath, and I got super mystical on it. I had sage oil in the bath, and I had my red candle going because I knew it was Muladhara. And I had my crystals there. I had red crystals for the root, I had green for the heart, and I had this amazing, oh my god, you have to check this thing out, this Tibetan quartz that I bought in Mangawhai on the weekend. And like, I've been sleeping with this, like I'm holding it in my hand while sleeping at the moment. Yeah, who knows if crystals have any impact on us whatsoever, but I do it regardless because it feels good. So I had that bath, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to practice. And all week I've been teaching this particular Muladhara practice, so I knew that this is what I was going to practice. And I've been, so I got on the mat and I filmed it, because there's something about filming that provides a container for me that helps to keep me on track, because otherwise my practice can get really like svaristan, like just so fluid and flexible, like I kind of get lost. So I'm practicing and I'm practicing, and you don't notice it on the video because it's time-lapse, but when I hit the peak pose, whose name I can't remember, like it's a variation of gate pose that Shiva was teaching last week, and it's almost impossible for me to even reach the first krama, the first stage. Like, it's so hard for me to access, and to me that's a big sign that that's where I need to go. So as soon as I hit that pose, the emotion just starts to come up and to come up and to come up. So in my practice, as I'm in the posture, I'm breathing and I'm crying it out. And I'm crying it out, and then I change sides. I go through squat and I'm crying and I'm crying, and I go to the other side. I'm crying and I'm crying. And so that's what's happened in that practice that I've put up. And that's what happens a lot with me in my practice. It's the way that I'm able to get into my body and to access emotion that's ready to release, because my habitual patterns is to control, and I get really hard and rigid and quite masculine. And I was noticing that this week, that the softness and the femininity which I'd cultivated and experienced, at Wanderlust and at Shiva, was starting to disappear, and I was like, no, I want to be in that space. Yeah, so, but then I disassociated as well, and that happens when there's emotion coming up for me. Like on my mat, I'm in the crying, and I was fully in it, and yet, you know, afterwards I felt so out of it, just so like, where am I? Who am I? Like what, where? And it was interesting, like on the mat, briefly, I started to get the sense of being really present again in my body, and this joy arising, which is where I had been over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it was like, yeah, there I am, yay. And the second that started to come in, then the emotion arose. And this is the thing, right, is that you can't be present and in your body and in the moment and in the right now without feeling whatever needs to be felt. So on my mat, the feeling started to come up, and I went into that old pattern of disassociating, like leaving my body, and then I had to go and teach, and it's like, oh God, I don't know if I can teach. I'm in this space, and it's gonna be so hard. And like, it was really quiet at the studio. I'm literally going, please nobody show up so I don't have to teach. And one person showed up, this beautiful woman, and so I gave her a one-on-one session, and we went through the practice again, the Muladhara practice I've been teaching all week. And you know, I learned so much from her, being with her and doing that, and it was an amazing experience. Well, at the beginning it was hard. It was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? So I just wanted to share with you where I am right now, because this is the truth of me. You know, this is all of me, and I believe that, or I know that we, you know, we have to learn to be okay with sharing, all of us, with each other at all times, and being able to receive that, you know, to listen and to hear and to feel that without trying to fix it or change it or make it different. Like, I'm great. I don't need fixing. I don't need advice. There's nothing I need except to be heard and to be loved and to be accepted just as I am. And that's what I'm doing for myself, you know, as I go through this. Just listening to, what do I need right now? I need to feel whatever's coming up. And so that's what informed my practice. That's what my practice was about today. And it's really, for me, it's about releasing the tension around my hips big time, and the connection between my tailbone and the crown of my head. And you'll notice in the video, like in my downward dogs in particular, like through the back of my heart, I'm just, yeah, and I see it, and I watch it on the video. I'm like, oh my God, look at what's gone on in my practice. And that's a little bit hard as well, because I see where the energy's not flowing, and I see where I'm not present in my body, and I see all these things because I see it all. And it's what it is. We just accept it. Okay, takeaways from this. It's quite long. It's really about learning to listen to your body and to listen to what's needed, and to recognize that when you're feeling depressed or when you're feeling anxious, there's nothing wrong with you. That's it. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your body's way of talking to you. And when you learn how to listen to that, when you learn how to notice what's going on, then you can respond and you can take the action that's required. And then when that happens, you don't go so deep into it. You know, like where I am right now, once upon a time might have led to 3 months of depression. Now it's more just like, oh, I see this, I see this, I see this. I know what's needed, I know what to do. And it's not really a big deal. It's just getting into my heart, getting into my body and feeling what's arising, which is around trust and surrender. For me at the moment, it's around safety, abandonment, Muladhara. So here I am, there I am. Much love to you all.